Welcome to Deep Cyber's weekly cybersecurity briefing. Here's what's unfolded over the past week. This week, one idea runs through every story like a fault line. Trust in people, in tools, in systems is being exploited faster than we can defend it. From human psychology to artificial intelligence, attackers and bad actors are finding the same weakness at every level. We extend trust before we verify it. Let's start where that exploitation is most human. A joint advisory from the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, has confirmed that Chinese intelligence officers are posing as job recruiters on professional networking platforms using fake profiles and attractive career offers to slowly extract classified information from government employees, military personnel, and contractors. No hacking required, just a conversation. The danger here is that victims often don't realize they've been compromised until long after the damage is done, and the attack begins with something as ordinary as a flattering message about your career. If your organization employs people with security clearances or access to sensitive systems, this is not a theoretical threat. Confirmed cases already exist across multiple nations. The practical step is simple but critical. Independently verify the identity of any unsolicited online recruiter and report suspicious outreach to your security team immediately. That same instinct, to click before thinking, to trust before verifying, is exactly what criminals are counting on as the 2026 FIFA World Cup approaches. Security researchers and the FBI are warning that thousands of fake websites impersonating official FIFA pages are already live, and malicious software is being hidden inside unofficial streaming apps that fans download to watch matches for free. One documented case involved a near-perfect copy of FIFA's login page capable of fully hijacking a real account. The World Cup draws a massive, emotionally engaged global audience, and that enthusiasm is a vulnerability. Fans in a hurry to buy tickets or catch a match are less likely to pause and question whether the page they're on is genuine. The takeaway is direct. Only use official sources, never download streaming apps from unofficial platforms, and enable two-step verification on any account connected to your payment details. Now, both of those attacks exploited human behavior. But this next story asks a harder question. What happens when the tools we build to protect us are also failing to deliver? Security operations centers, the teams responsible for detecting and responding to cyber threats, have been investing heavily in artificial intelligence tools, but a striking disconnect has emerged. Only 10% of those teams report receiving excellent value from the AI they've deployed. The rest are sitting on expensive software that demands constant manual tuning, generates excessive false alarms, and still requires heavy human oversight. The promise was automation and speed. The reality is more complexity on top of an already stretched workforce. Vendors now face a credibility test. If the next generation of AI security tools cannot demonstrate measurable improvements in speed, accuracy, and analyst efficiency, budget holders will lose patience. The question every security leader should be asking right now is whether their AI investment is genuinely reducing risk or simply shifting the workload. That gap between promise and reality isn't confined to security tools. Gartner analysts are now identifying 4 threat categories where attackers hold a clear and growing advantage. Among the most urgent are deepfakes, AI-generated audio and video designed to impersonate executives or manufacture false events, and prompt injection attacks, which manipulate the large language models powering popular AI chatbots by slipping harmful instructions into their inputs. Traditional defense strategies were not built for either of these. Deepfakes are increasingly being used to authorize fraudulent transactions and spread disinformation, while prompt injection can cause an AI system to leak sensitive data or bypass its own safety guidelines. The core message from Gartner is not abstract. Attackers are adopting new technology faster than defenders are adapting to it. Organizations that don't update their security strategies to account for AI native threats are already behind. So what does responsible adoption actually look like? Lloyds Banking Group has offered one of the most practical answers heard this week. At the InfoSecurity Europe conference, the UK's largest retail bank outlined its approach to securing agentic AI. Systems that don't just answer questions, but independently plan and execute tasks like processing transactions or managing customer interactions. Their strategy rests on two pillars: hands-on experimentation, where technical teams actively build and break these systems to understand their failure modes, and cross-functional governance, where legal, compliance, risk, and technology teams collectively define the boundaries within which AI agents are permitted to operate. The lesson Lloyds is sharing is that securing autonomous AI is not a technology problem alone. It is an organizational challenge. For any business beginning to deploy agentic AI, the Lloyds model is worth studying. Limit what your AI can do, monitor what it does in real time, and make accountability explicit before something goes wrong. While banks are building governance frameworks, one sector is struggling to build even the basics. Cybersecurity experts at InfoSecurity Europe describe the healthcare industry as facing a perfect storm. Legacy medical devices that cannot receive software updates, near total connectivity to the internet, and chronically fatigued staff who are more likely to fall for phishing attacks. Ransomware gangs specifically target hospitals because the pressure to restore operations quickly is enormous. Patient care cannot wait. Older imaging machines and patient monitors carry permanent security gaps that no patch will ever fix, and an exhausted nurse clicking a malicious email link is not a failure of discipline. It is a predictable outcome of an impossible workload. The shift in expectation is demanding, from reactive security, waiting for the attack, to proactive security, finding weaknesses before attackers do, and embedding protection into everyday clinical workflows. The stakes here are not financial. In documented cases, cyber attacks on hospitals have directly contributed to patient harm. Governments are beginning to grapple with these risks at a national level. The Trump administration has signed an executive order establishing a voluntary program that would allow AI developers to give federal agencies early access to their most advanced or frontier models before public release, giving the government an opportunity to assess national security risks ahead of time. The word voluntary is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Critics are already questioning whether a non-mandatory framework gives the government enough real authority to identify dangerous capabilities before they proliferate. Supporters argue it balances innovation with oversight. The honest question for any organization watching Washington is this: if the most powerful government in the world is still figuring out how to evaluate frontier AI, what does that say about the readiness of everyone else? And that readiness question cuts deepest when we look at how AI is now being used to write the software that underpins everything. At InfoSecurity Europe, Boaz Barzel, Field CTO at Ox Security, issued a direct warning. AI coding tools are becoming capable of writing, testing, and deploying software with minimal human involvement. And without built-in security guardrails, the vulnerabilities they introduce could spread faster and further than anything a human developer could produce. His concept, Vibe Security, argues that security must be baked directly into AI coding tools, not bolted on afterward. If AI is going to build the digital infrastructure that businesses and individuals depend on, it needs to understand security as a default behavior, not an optional feature. The era of AI as a passive assistant is ending. The era of AI as an active builder is here, and the security strategies designed for human developers are not sufficient to meet it. Step back and look at everything this week delivered, and the pattern is impossible to miss. Trust is being weaponized at every layer. Human trust in a recruiter's message, fan trust in a streaming link, organizational trust in an AI tool's promises, clinical trust in a device that hasn't been patched in years. The attackers understand something that too many defenders are still learning. You don't need to break through the wall if someone will simply open the door. The most urgent work in cybersecurity right now is not building higher walls. It is questioning every door we have already opened and deciding deliberately, not by default, who and what we allow through. Before you go, if this briefing gave you useful insight this week, follow Deep Cyber wherever you're listening. A rating or comment helps the right people discover the show. That's all for this week. Thanks for listening, stay safe, and we'll be back next week with more cybersecurity updates.